Back in the field, today we got two special guests, two very special guests. We have Mr. Antonio Heath Sr., aka Toni Tonsorial. We got his son, Antonio Heath Jr., the prodigy. So, the floor is yours. We want to know, how both of you guys got started. So let's start with you, Toni Tonsorial.
Well, I graduated from Michigan Barber School, December 1989. How I started cutting hair is my mom made me start cutting hair. So my older brother, who taught me how to cut hair, the basic fundamentals, he was in the Marine Corps. And so when he was coming home on leave, he would cut my hair and trim up my afro. And this one particular time, he came home on leave before he was going overseas to Okinawa. And so the afro was playing out, and the brush waves was in. So he bust my afro down to brush wave length, which was cool. A week later, I needed a haircut. So when he used to trim my afro, I could go 2 months. You know what I'm saying? Without needing a haircut. So my mom was like, "You need a haircut already? Your brother was just here a week ago." She's like, "You need to learn how to cut your own hair, but I'm gonna take you up to the barbershop." So she took me up to the barbershop. And she gave the guy $5, and he gave her 50 cents back. So she was like, "That is too much money," because Mr. Johnson in the neighborhood was charging $3. Right. She was like, "That's too much money." And then she was like, "They want $5 on Saturdays," because it was always 50 cents on Saturdays. So she took me to the local Kmart after that, purchased me some wall clippers for about 15, 16 bucks, took me home, and I just went and just tore my head up. Wow. So my brother had to walk me through how to follow the growth pattern, how to go against or with the growth pattern and the different levels for the different guards. Check for the numbers so you can, whatever level you want, you can use that particular guard. So that's how I learned how to cut hair.
Wow. So just to reiterate, you said that your mom gave them $5 and
they gave her 50 cents back. And she said that was too much money.
And what year was this?
This was in 1983.
Wow. So definitely times have changed. Safe to say. But that definitely leads me to my next question. So you've been getting your hair cut at barbershop since 1983. You've been around barber since 1983. But what is the biggest thing that you would say that has changed about barbershops? Like, have you seen any big changes when it comes to barbering and the profession period?
Appointments. Yeah, back then we used to have to be glued to the barbershop. Yeah. We had to, we would sun up, sun down. We had to read a newspaper. That's the only way we could build a clientele, That was, we had to be there. And another difference is like the shop owners were actually shop owners. They ran their shop like it was in sequence. It was in uniform, Everybody opened at the same time. We closed at the same time. We took turns cleaning up, and we worked as a unit. Now it's kind of a lot of, it's not as a unit anymore,
right,
as I noticed over the year.
Right. And that's an interesting point because just like with everything else, things evolve and things change. And you've been around for a while. So you said you graduated from Michigan Barber School in
1989.
89. Yeah. You've been here. You've been around.
32 years, man.
32 years. So you've been licensed for over 32 years.
Actually, no. I'm a professional barber for 32 years, but I didn't get my license until like 12 years ago.
Wow, really?
Yeah, man. I was just getting bad information from shop owners and stuff. I was doing well. I was kind of like micromanaging their shops, and and they knew once I tightened up myself and got myself together that I wasn't gonna be there anymore.
Right.
So they made it easy for me to stay there. Booth rent was a lot of times booth rent was free. So I just over the years I just didn't feel good about it because I ended up opening up my own shop that after I named after my mom, Frankie's Barbershop. So I owned the shop for 10 years, from 2003 to 2013. And, 6, 7 of those years, I didn't have my license until owning that shop. And so I got myself together, man, and I humbled myself, and I went back in there because I got a family, I wanted to protect myself, I got away with it for too long. And so I went back to Michigan Barber School, and I just took an advanced course, refresher course. I was down there for about 3 months, man, and I went to the state board and knocked it on out. So
Wow. Yeah, man, that's beautiful. That's inspirational. So basically you're telling me you go from growing up getting your haircut paid by your mother. She's giving the barber $5, getting 50 cents back at that time, 1983, to actually growing up, becoming a licensed barber, owning your own shop and dedicating that shop to your mother. That's truly inspirational. So you've told us that you graduated from Michigan Barber School. What opportunities would you say that afforded you? Actually getting that license, because we've seen you as one of the faces of Sola Salons. We've seen you work with Hattori Hanzo. So getting that license, what doors did that open?
once I did that, those things just started coming to me. Offers from all over the place. People just start recognizing me more. Actually, I was putting myself out there more because I felt better about myself. So when I started putting myself out there more, then I started getting a lot of feedback. And I was asked to be an educator. I was asked to work with the company. I was asked to be a Faces of Solar. So all those things just started coming to me after doing the right things, And then I just fell in love with everything that was coming at me. And I just took it by storm, man. I just took it to the next level. It was just fun. I was having a great time. I done traveled all over the country, man. I taught classes in 44 states. Being Faces of Solar, I was one of the 10 professionals that was selected out of 7,000 people. So those things, man, just everything just started happening for me, man. Just,
Wow.
It was crazy.
So basically do good things and good things come to you.
Hey, man, yeah, perfect example, man. Yeah,
sure,
yeah,
for sure.
perfect example.
So if you don't mind me asking about those Hanzo years, what was that like for you, becoming an educator for a company like that? And, the second part of the question can be for your son. What type of inspiration did that provide you, seeing your father set these goals for himself and actually reach them? What type of inspiration did it provide?
Well, working with Hanzo, man, it was cool because I was the first black educator to work with Hanzo. And what the good thing about it, was it was, you know, being able to work with scissors and shears and being able to fade with those tools. And a lot of people wasn't fading with scissors like that, especially on Afro texture. So I was doing those things, and it's just been crazy, man. Like Hanzo really, it helped me out a lot with my career, getting a good platform. It taught me how, showed me how the other side of the culture is, as far as like bridging the gap between cosmetology and barbering. I learned how to cut long hair. I done took so many cosmetology classes. So it worked in other ways too for me, as far as, not just being an educator, but being a student as well, with working with the company. Yeah, and I stepped away last year, and, now I'm doing my own thing.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So we know that definitely set a platform for you to be able to launch and go into your own thing. And we're going to talk about the Head Barber Academy in a second, but just transitioning over to your son, like we said, like how did that inspire you? What type of inspiration did that provide for you, seeing your father accomplish these different goals?
One thing I'm like the most proud of when I see my dad is the fact that he's always been in control of his own time and his own money. I feel like that's crucial, especially when you have a family, to be able to control those things, because you want to be there for those memories, which is the time, and you want to be able to take care of them, which is the money, and when you're in control of those, nobody can really tell you how to do that. So just walking your own path and being your own person, literally, like that's probably the biggest thing I've ever taken from just watching my dad coming up.
Wow. Now that's definitely inspiring, man. Like, they say the apple don't fall too far from the tree. So you're watching your father as you grow up. You see him eating off his artistry, so to speak. But how did that lead you in a form of artistry? We know you're a barber, but what other arts did it lead you into?
Honestly, I personally didn't know I wanted to be a barber until I was like done with high school. So, like the barbering was the next option for me because of how well my dad is taking care of us, and I knew that it's an honest dollar, it's a skill with my own hands that, nobody can tell me how to use, and it's always going to be there. Perfect. So it was like, that was just like one of those things. And then I was a dancer as well. I am a dancer. Wow. And I do multiple different styles. And that's another thing that I got from my dad, is being versatile within one lane. So it's like there's no really like a wrong direction to go in. You just kind of gotta adjust, and you're good. So those are like the things, you know. Just watching them.
And you've taken it to, you know, a different lane, and so to speak. And that's not really to say that we're off topic or anything like that, because barbering actually incorporates many different facets of artistry, right? So hip hop and barbering goes hand in hand. Fashion and barbering goes hand to hand. And honestly speaking, man, nobody can do anything without a good haircut. So
What'd you say?
That was fun.
Real fun.
I enjoyed that.
Yes, yes, sir.
for more exclusive content, barber interviews, custom clipper drops, anything related to barbering, make sure you click that like and subscribe. Hit that bell too. Follow us on IG at ClipperModDetroit.